The top 10 best products that I can think of off the top of my head coming out of the UK would be Chickatiki Marsala. And yes, despite popular belief, this wasn't made in India. Gotcha, Blay. Aston Martin, Hot Point Tumble Dryer. Marmite, Guillotine, Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Two very important pieces. You've got Smooya and you've got Duncan Thorn Shields. Welcome back to the FACEIT Asian Minor here live from the Twickenham Stadium. And of course, my name is Tristan Saranthus. I am your host, and alongside of me is going to be Sponge, and it's going to be Blatt on the other side of him. Now, guys, we have just witnessed what was the first best of three of the day that did send Tai Lu on to play in the upper bracket finals. Well, we've got one more best of three for you, and I can guarantee you this one is probably going to come down to the wire, too.
I think this one here is a lot murkier. Now, we know what to expect out of a Tai Lu. We know what to expect out of a Renegades. But right now, we've been presented with a Scarz who impressed on day one with an upset over Renegades, and a Tainted Minds who have looked shaky but have potential. And that's the scary factor, I think, here.
Yeah, the thing is, like, for Scar, right, we've only seen him play 2 best-of-1s. Correct,
True.
And we don't. I really don't know what to think of them. Or whenever I've seen them play, oh, that was loud. Whenever I've seen them play in the past, it's like it's always been like I said. They don't have the firepower. They got the structure right. They have the basics right. But yesterday, like day before, I'm sorry, they were like, hitting their shots. They were like really, we're taking those duels to Renegades. One of the better teams in this tournament, obviously. And Tainted Minds yesterday against the win against Unique Stars. It was very shaky, right?
Yeah.
Like on Overpass, for example, very back and forth. They were losing rounds they had no business losing. They were playing hyper-aggressive. And if you notice the way Scarz were playing, they were much more methodical. They were very controlled. And this could easily go to a map number 3.
This could easily go to a map number 3, and you can easily go onto your favorite social media platform and use hashtag FACEITMinor. Get involved.
What's
get
the hashtag?
Activated. Get animate.
FACEITMinor.
It's hashtag FACEITMinor, Chad.
Okay, let me just...
Anyway, yeah, go on your favorite social media platform. It's going to be Twitter, it's going to be Instagram, it's going to be Facebook. It's going to be just about anything you could think of. And plug that hashtag. And Chad's Twitter DMs are open, so you can go ahead and do that. Let's take a look at the brackets here for how this day is panning out thus far. Scarz, Absolute, and Tainted Minds will be squaring off here in our last best of 3 of the day. Tai Lu takes Renegades to 3 map, in which they did find themselves victorious, and now moving one step closer to winning this minor.
Yeah, the road gets very scary for the likes of Scarz and Tainted Minds here, because either way, they were either going to have to play Renegades or a Tai Lu. This matchup right here is a chance to put them further in the tournament, but it is going to be a battle if they want to get through to that to that grand final, or even to get to the that third place playoff. One of these two teams are probably going to get blown out of the water by Renegades tomorrow, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you might hope that, Chad, but we just definitely don't know that to be the case right now. Perhaps
I'm a fortune teller.
Yeah, I think you do have some sort of crystal
We've
ball.
been pretty positive today, if you think about it.
Yeah,
it's been a pretty positive day.
Like positive as in like our energy, or is it more like just Chad in a different light? Than
Chad not being
I got out of the spider web.
Cynical, not a
I mean,
Brit, cynical Brit, kind of.
I'm 50%.
Yeah,
British.
50%. Yeah,
50%.
Yeah.
Never go 50%. You only go 62%. That's where I'm at on the British scales. Now, check this out, chat. If you're in there right now, just go ahead and get activated. Let's start. I don't want to say build a ladder or anything stupid like that, but maybe we hype up the chat a little bit. We've got one more best of 3. What is not to love about that? Scarz, a team coming straight out of Japan, and quite frankly, have already surprised thus far in the tournament so far.
Yeah, they've been they've been the biggest surprise. They have been the biggest surprise so far, right? Like playing some pretty decent Counter-Strike. Sure, Renegades dropped the ball a little bit. We did discuss this earlier yesterday that if Renegades had to play Scarz later on, if they played in best of 3, they'd probably stomp them. They'd wreck him. But all things considered, I'm excited for them. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see them, even if they get destroyed by Tainted Minds. Even if they lose the Tainted Minds, I don't want to see them get destroyed. I wanted to put up something to show that, hey, apart from the Tai Lus, apart from your Vici Gaming and a couple of other teams out there, there are scenes in Asia, like we saw Unique Stars from Israel. There are scenes which can produce some homegrown grassroots level talent. So I'm looking forward to that.
I definitely agree with that, and I think some of the players that stood out for me were Crow. He was one who was hitting some nice shots. Laz on the AWP there, he was getting some things done as well. But I definitely think it needs to be noted that they had it's one of two things happened. They either had the perfect storm in the sense of Renegades, you know, they were being very lackadaisical in their approach, going, oh, we should beat these guys. We haven't activated ourselves mentally, which is a fact. I've played in games like that before where you are the favorite and you haven't gotten off the mark the way you should. There's no excuse for that. That's a very bad mentality to be in, but that's possible. And the fact they let Dust 2 through, which isn't a map you ever really want to play against a team when you don't know much about them.
Yeah, and I guess Dust 2 does give that platform. It is the most infamous pug map of all time. So if you know Counter-Strike, you definitely know Dust 2. It gives that sort of platform for every player to play on. But I guess we can go ahead and start this conversation with a little bit of Tainted Minds. I believe that is going to be your friends. I believe they were called the Renegades yesterday.
Yeah. Well, so Tainted Minds is basically one. At the moment in Australia, there's 4 teams towards the top of the pack. We don't count Renegades really, because they don't compete in Australia anymore, right?
Yeah.
They live in North America. But you have Tainted Minds, you have Order, you have Chiefs, and then you have Greyhound. Now, Tainted Minds were lucky enough to win the qualifier. They had to beat Order. I think that was one of their harder opponents in that.
Yeah.
And then throughout this tournament, they've looked sloppy. They've had bad decisions. They've tried to be very individual. And I think some of the weaknesses for these guys is not about experience, it's about decision making. And I think also their map pool may be relatively weak going into this matchup.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it came to that matchup against the Unique Stars, that's when I started seeing their flaws laid out to bear, right? Like, we saw a lot of aggression. Aggression is good. Like, control aggression is good. But if you're going to be playing so sloppy, one by one, going in, throwing away frag. They won this map because Burn, are you okay? He got an ace, and he had 2 massive rounds to close it out. Or else they got a map number 3 and playing the way they were, and the way Unique Stars seemed looking pretty solid, right? It could have gone either way. They got a little bit lucky that it didn't completely slip away from their hands. And if that's going to be the Tainted Minds are going to be showing up today, even if they win, even if they beat SC Absolute going forward, you're going to be facing off against Renegades, and they're going to completely dismantle you.
Just with these players on the screen, to give everyone an idea of roles and I guess history of the players, Yam is the AWP player for the squad. He used to play for Renegades with me back in the day. In the middle is Offnu. He's from New Zealand. He's the in-game leader, also been around for a very long time. And the other storied player, or I guess who's been playing at a high level, would be Zusi to his right, who he played in Winter Fox with Offnu, APOC, likes those. And then the newer stars, the newer players, Burn, Are You Okay, down the far end, who is, I guess, more of an entry fragger. And close to the screen is a more well-rounded star of Ins. And now we're going to take a look, and it looks like the Japanese.
Yep, we're going straight into it,
Let's
Chad.
go.
No time to fool around. This is not a game. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is. Let's go ahead and talk about the Scarz here, because honestly, what did we know about Scarz before we even got to this point, Blair?
So that's the thing with Scarz. They have been a top 3 team in East Asia for a while, behind MVP PK, the Koreans, and the Mongols. It's only after Mongols kind of fell off, and recently, MVP is kind of dropping off as well. So they've kind of, I think, taken a crown of being, especially with the performance in this minor, I think they're the best team from East Asia, so to speak, right now.
Sure.
I'm talking about Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Taiwan, all these regions, keeping China aside. They've been looking very solid, but then again, the teams they face off against, apart from the Tyloo, apart from VG Gaming, are pretty poor, let's be honest, right? From Southeast Asia, apart from Dreamscape and Tyloo and VG Gaming, there's not much of competition. So they've been pretty solid overall. But if you look at this team as such, if the way they play Counter-Strike, it is a very different style. It's not the free-flowing, hard-fragging style of CS that you expect to see from most Asian teams.
And again, we talked a little bit about the exposure yesterday that they might have, and what they're just straight up exposed to within their own confines. Now, perhaps we were able to pull something out here.
Oh.
We were able to get a translator, and we actually have Paula on the floor who has an interview with Scarz. Let's hear what they had to say.
He's doing it live.
What is going on, everybody? I'm very excited to be here with the guys from Scarz, specifically Laz, and we also, luckily enough today, are joined by Nike, one of our, a brand new translator here at FACEIT. Welcome, firstly.
ようこそってありがとうございます Thank you.
No problem. All right, so what's it like, firstly, to be here competing at a minor?
初めて日本代表してくるのはどういう感じですか
やっぱり緊張しますねただ、敵のレベルがすごい高いので、興奮してます。楽しみです。
So yeah, so obviously they said they're quite nervous about it, but they're very excited to play such high-level players.
And when they found out that they'd be coming here, when they got into that position, what was the mood like in the team?
一番最初にここのトーナメントでやるって聞いた時にはどういう感じでしたか
その時は特に何も感じなかったですね。
They said they didn't really feel much at all. They're just excited to play.
Okay, because in terms of story, it was only very recently that this became, in a sense, a full-time career for them. So is this opportunity a very big thing for Laz and his team?
ここで初めてやるのは一応やっぱりカリアとかでいいことですかって。
もちろんいいことですし、非常に貴重な機会で、はい、ありがたく思っています。
So yeah, this is a crucial moment for Japan and for them to be able to represent, and so they're very grateful for being here and playing.
All right, let's go back to yesterday. VG Flash and Renegades. They beat both of these teams, which, at least in the case of Renegades, was unexpected, but also beating VG was a good result. Just what did Laz and his team think about how those matches went?
So 昨日やったマッチとかやっぱり勝てないと思ってたチームとか勝ったからどういう考えでやりましたか？
正直に言うと、VG ですら勝てるかどうか怪しいかなとは思っていました。リネゲーズについては、全く勝てるとは思っていませんでした。皆さんもそうだと思いますけど、自分たちもそうです。
So VG とは勝てる。
勝つのは難しいかなと思いました。リネゲーズの時はもう絶対勝てないだろうなと思ってました。
So against VG, they were quite confident of being able to play a good game and do a good job at it. But Renegades, they were completely unaware of the result that they got yesterday, so they're very excited about it.
And can Laz explain a bit more about specifically Renegades? Because as we've established, that was a huge result. What were they doing right in that match, and could they have even done better? Because it was quite a close matchup.
So Renegades とやってた時にはどういう考えでやってましたか？いろんなタクティクスとか戦撃とか考えはその間で考えたかまたやったかどういうふうなものを習いましたか？
やってることは前から同じで、できるだけ自分たちの強い部分を当てて相手の穴を作るという、形でやっていました。それは、相手が強いとか関係なく、リネゲーズ戦でも発揮できたのかなと思っています。
So yeah, they're very excited about doing the whole thing, and they just stuck to their own strengths. They don't want to divulge too much, but they like to stick to their strengths and just try and continue as best they could, and not to think too much about winning or losing.
Yeah, not overthink things. And talking about their next opponents, they have Tainted Minds ahead of them. They're a team that are at the top flight of Australian CS and are trying to break through and prove themselves on a similar level to Renegades. Can he talk a bit about Tainted Minds as opponents?
So Tainted Mind 対戦い今度やるときは今からやるときはどういう考えでやりたいと思ってますか？
自分たちができることをなんでしょう、ベストを尽くせたらいいなと思っています。もちろんテインテッドマインドも非常に強いチームだっていうのは分かっているので、みんなちゃんと準備してきました。
どういう準備で？
細かいことはやっぱり言えないんですけど、この試合でできるだけベストを尽くせるような準備をしてきました。
So yeah, they just came prepared. They don't want to divulge too much in the tactics or anything like that, but they're just very excited to play. Yeah.
All right, final question then, Nike to Laz. What does it mean to be representing Japan on this level? And also, if they are to progress, how proud of themselves would they be?
ここで勝ったとしたらどういう考えでどういうふうにここから行きますかって。
どういうふうにすいませんもう一回です。
So wait, can you repeat the question?
Yes, no, of course. So for them, final question, what does it mean to represent Japan on this level? And if they are to progress further into the tournament, how proud of themselves would they be?
ここで勝ったらどういう、プライドで次の時に行きますかって嬉しさはどういうふうな感じって。
いや勝てたらすごいことなんじゃないですかね。ただあんまり想像してないです。それよりも自分たちの実力がどこまでいくかに集中を当てていて、勝ったらどうとか考えないようにしてます。
Yeah, they're very happy to be representing Japan, but they don't really think about whether they win or lose too much and just focus on this current game that's coming up ahead.
Awesome, Nike and Laz, thank you so much. Would he like to say anything to everybody watching at home?
最後には皆さん見てる人たちに何か言いたいことありますか？
ちょっと恥ずかしいんですけど、意外と戦えるかもしれませんよ。
So yeah, he's a bit shy saying this, but he feels like they'll put up a good fight.
There we go. All right. Best of luck in there. Nike, thank you so much for coming in. And if they win, we'll see you again. But they have Tainted Minds ahead of them. Who's going to take it? Only time will tell. Trace, over to you.
Thank you very much, Paula. Indeed. We're going to be jumping right into these map vetoes very quickly so we can get this bad boy started. But I do have to say that you could see the excitement. They're just excited to be here and play, man.
Yeah, well, for sure. I think, this is obviously the Super Bowl for teams like this. We've been saying it for a lot of the more underdog squads. But if we get into that veto, I want to just make sure we highlight the fact that I definitely think that Scarz, even though they have the same level of experience as Tainted Minds, have the map veto advantage. I think that they can pick into a lot of maps that Tainted Minds won't be ready for.
This is so funny from Tainted Minds banning a Dust 2 immediately.
It wasn't even like a really, okay, sure, they beat Renegades on it and stuff, but it wasn't like they showed a crazy good face. The individuals, I think, stepped up for Scarz.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I think Scarz actually probably have a mental advantage here, right? And if they're going to be doing what they said, where they're not going to be too worried about, who they're facing off against, whether they're winning or losing, just going to go and play their game. I think that's a good mentality to have. I'm a little surprised Scarz didn't ban Inferno. That's a map they're not comfortable playing on. They rarely play it, so I'm expecting that as a second ban, unless Tainted Minds pick that, and they should. Ooh.
You know what's really weird about
that? That's a curveball.
No, but you know what is crazy weird about that pick from Tainted Minds? Is I just went over there to see how they were looking, just see if they were set up or whatever, and they're practicing smokes and talking about if there's gaps or holes in it.
Uh-oh.
That doesn't really fill me with a lot of confidence. I actually thought that, Scarz may have wanted to pick into that map. They may have wanted to, do it as a punish, but it appears to be the other way, and this could be one of the most scrappiest games of Nuke that we may have ever seen.
This is a big, this is going to be a mess. This is a big oof. I'll tell you why. I don't think I've ever seen Scarz play Nuke, and if you, what you just said right now, whether you're trying to figure out smokes last minute, that's not going to paint a nice picture. Scarz going to ban on Inferno. That's a map they never play, so I personally feel... Overpass is third, so they banned out Inferno. If Tainted Minds had done their homework, I personally feel they should have, instead of going for this Dust 2 ban, they should have just gone for the Inferno ban, because that's a map that could be a problem. Or rather, they could have gone for the Inferno pick, where I'm sure Tainted Minds are better than Scarz Absolute at any given point in time. So there you have it.
Inferno as a third. Alrighty. Well, that's interesting veto indeed. We don't really have a huge sample size to look into for Scarz, right?
This makes
we don't
no
play
sense.
too many games that get featured on HT veto. Or there is a lot of map history, but in terms of caliber of opponent, it's hard to tell what they've really prepped or had ready for this setup. So it's an interesting veto. I think this is the first time that we are going to see Nuke.
This tournament? I believe so.
I think so.
Yes.
So with that in mind, and both teams not really being the highest caliber Nuke team, I think it's going to be a scrappy affair where maybe the individuals from Tainted Minds could take over, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, Tainted Minds, obviously coming into this one, is it easy enough to say the clear favorite? I mean, how do we want to say this one?
I think that Scarz showed a really good face on day one. They've showed the level of potential that's there and preparedness and humble but hungry, whereas Tainted Minds should be, in terms of experience, the better team. But the issue there was they looked very messy the first couple of days.
I'm actually gonna say Tainted Minds will be the favorites here by quite a bit, because even though it's going to be messy Counter-Strike, I think it's going to be a little messy, or at least in the first two maps. Thing is, Tainted Minds have some pretty storied players, right? You have Yam, you have people who've been playing for quite a while in the minors and whatnot, and this for the Japanese teams, the very first time in a stage like this. So yeah, I think Tainted Minds do have the edge, mentally.
Okay, real quick, because we're about ready to jump into this game, I want to ask you guys who you have in this one right away.
I think I'm going to have to go Tainted Minds.
Same here, Tainted Minds.
Of course. Yeah. I'm going to go the opposite way. Scarz, you got this all the way, baby. Let's kind of switch it up here a little bit. Let's switch it up here a little bit. We were able to sit down with both of these teams yesterday and hear what they had to say going into today's matchup, and perhaps maybe not. Maybe I have been misled. Let's
down the rabbit hole.
Game start. That's about the time. Let's jump into this.
Scarz made their mark on day one of the Asia's Minor, taking down the highly anticipated Renegades on Dust 2 in a massive upset. But will it be enough to hold their ground coming into this best of three?
Honestly, we cannot go through because the enemy team is very strong and we have some problem and the problems doesn't fix yet.
Taking on the Japanese squad are Tainted Minds. The side looked dominant against Unique Stars in their last matchup, as Author Yam proved his dominance. But will it be enough to take down the breakthrough Scarz?
Nuke as map number 1. It's going to be very interesting indeed. This is going to be a journey of exploration. This one I think is... Okay, so yes, I say like I don't really pick a team, but I think this one's really up for grabs between these two teams. Like extra up in the air.
Even
higher in the air.
Even after Blair was like, these vetoes make... Like he set it up, with what he said with the vetoes basically means that Scar's going to get wrecked. Completely wrecked. That's basically
so?
that seemed to be Blair's impression. As the regional expert, I can't ignore this. I can't ignore Blair's expertise. So
open minds, boys. Opened, whatever. They're both open.
Right, and so this was the first question, was that Scarz just don't have much experience here on Nuke, and it's going to start off poorly for them on that T side no less, and already dropping 4 players, yet to do any damage. Poem looking to hold against the masses, but there's no way onto her sights.
Specifically Poem number 8 there. Don't forget it.
Yeah, there's not much to do, and he'll go down. 5 players surviving, and they'll start CD side with good monies. One thing I liked from Tainted Minds yesterday was that when they were feeling dominant, when they're getting the confidence going, I liked how they ran with it. They started increasing the amount of flanks that they were doing and the amount of pushes that they were doing, and trying to really play off of the the no respect type confidence that they started to get. And so I hope to see that again here if they get into that position.
We will patiently wait for the Molotov. And off we go. Off we go, excuse me. Bars has got himself a nice situation. Poem has an MP9 now. Tainted Minds, do they have eyes towards the ramp anymore? I'm not sure if they do. But what can Scarz do with this? Okay, that certainly helps. Tainted Minds not shy to look for information. And I do wonder, like, if you look at the previous match of Tainted Minds, there was so much aggression on their CT side, so many flanking, so many liberties being taken. But this is a new opponent. And the early remarks here from Tainted Minds, from Scarz, would suggest that Tainted Minds will receive more punishment for being so aggressive, confident, and for taking those liberties. So they may have to adjust their game to their new opponents, who are now in a 5 versus 3.
Okay, this is interesting. So some good shots here coming out from Scarz, puts them in a overwhelmingly strong position. Ins will stand and fight and stand and die. So you see, he should try to save at this point, get some weapons out of the hands of his opponents, but also keep his gun if he can. They all challenge him. The bomb is not down yet. That was actually really interesting. They go for elimination. That's actually really interesting, because most teams, what you'll see is they'll just guarantee the bomb plant. They knew exactly where the last guy was, but the bomber is running to trade out. What if he gets the kills there? They could lose a round. Anyway, that won't be the case. They'll trade strong, and they will win that force by out come the AKs, out comes the force from Tainted Minds.
All right then, what kind of anti-eco can we expect from Scarz? I'm sure this team will be full of surprises for us. Starting slow, not doing anything crazy. You can see Ofnu has made his way close. Yam is outside as well. Zusi by the main position, moving towards T-Red. So CTs want to get aggressive outside. Oh, they needed a trade there, Scarz. And now they are in a lot of trouble. 2 AKs on the floor outside. And they are in position to try to protect them. Oh, Zusi has to reposition, avoid the HE grenades. And I feel like Tainted Minds could win this in this position. He throws the gun over the fence, but you've got to shoot the gun. Otherwise, they can just press E through the fence and pick it up anyway. Ofnu continues to chase. And Scarz don't have any possession outside, which means it can't be secret, can't be anywhere else. They're still better equipped for the time being. But this doesn't look good for them.
So on the desk, they set this up by saying it was bound to be the messiest nuke that you'll like to see in a while, and it's already proving to be the case, especially if Tainted Minds are able to win this round. It looks like that will be the case. Nowhere to plant, nowhere to stand. And that'll be 2-1. Tainted Minds pick it up. And with no bomb plant for Scarz, that will definitely encourage them not to force buy here. I think, you'd want to give it up at this point. If you're like, all right, just hold your hands up. Okay, you guys have taken this. That said, there's two players around $1,500, which does mean that their money's just going to suck. Like, no matter what they do, it's just going to suck for a couple rounds. Tainted Minds will be safe and secure. And we'll have a Deagle and 4 Glocks, so nothing really to offer for the Japanese team. Hope we get to see more Japanese teams coming into the Counter-Strike scene on the international scale.
Tainted Minds. This is I have no idea what to expect from this game of Nuke. Maybe it is a master stroke pick for Tainted Minds. It remains to be seen, but now it's looking like a good start for the CT side. They should be able to, well, they did farm some cash in that round. Scarz are buying up. What will we see in the name of grenades? Okay, they've got 4 smoke grenades. So let's see if they will offer that wall of smokes outside. They could really do with the extra map control because they are very limited. They have 1 flashbang. Scarz, 1 flash. So how will this begin? That's how it begins. Looking for the fast plays towards that main position. They've got a trade. Will they start to move in? It looks like they will. They're just fragging all over the place. Now Yam's in a secret position, but a push is in on the A site, but Poem's in a on his own, taken out, and that's the bomb on the floor. Yam a bit slow on the mark there versus Laz. He had a second and a half or a second advantage, but unable to get that kill. 3 versus 2. In's ready for Boss on the high ground, and Scarz are moving into a 1-by-1. Now you see Burn on the high ground. Crow looking for Ins. He hears the jump peak, looking towards CT Vent. No, he'll go down. That's a nice shot from Laz. Burn is in red, and now Burn's fired his shots. The baits were there. Ooh, eating the flashbang. Laz is heavily tagged also. And Burn's made his way into the site. There's a whole minute on the clock here for Laz to work with. Does he re-peek in main? Does Ben start to wonder? Oh, he's going all the way around, but Burn might get some sound cues here. Oh, surely he's heard this. This will be a free frag for Burn. Surely there's no way Laz checks this position.
And that'll be that, 4-1. Tainted Minds. It was a close one, but they will circumvent the danger. Tainted Minds.
Yeah, sorry, Dad. I just think from at the end of that round, looking at that decision-making from Scarz, this should be a solid W for Tainted Minds. I don't think the experience is there for Scarz. just playing map in general, regardless of the level. So this looks like it will be very difficult for an upcoming team who haven't got the 7 maps nailed down just yet.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a really strong Counter-Strike scene to play, this is going to be one of the more difficult maps. Especially as it's received so many alterations. And to be honest, there's not a lot of teams in top flight CS that are even amazing on this map, let alone particularly competent and well routined. A lot of people will try to avoid playing Nuke at the very top level, and it's kind of complex. And so obviously there are many advantages to be had. So you can see why in that sense there was dismay on the desk when this came up. But for Tainted Minds, I'm sure they are very happy with this. Starting on that CT side, win the pistol, lose the force spike, but reset the opponents on the next round. That is, it can't really go better than that. Gives you a lot of momentum at the beginning of the game. This becomes a very important round. It starts off well. A ramp burst perhaps can... Oh, that's a strong nade. They need to get something off of this burst, and the damage just keeps coming in.
Yeah, holding an angle for the jump into the ramp position or the run. Poem gets taken out. Burn is here as well. Still comfortable for Tainted Minds in what should be a lopsided CT half. Crow pop flash his teammate in, but that's easy to avoid for Yam. And now Take J remains. And there he goes. 6-1 for Tainted Minds. Marvelous.
Pistols once again. The half by Pistol Kevlar. Where do they take them? In previous rounds, they tried to burst out ramp and it got shut down in a brutal fashion. This time they'll go for the upper bomb side, perhaps down the vents. It's hard to say. No, it's going to go for the white peaks and it's going to be good for 1 kill. Still more players to defend though. In's anchoring that bomb site, has assistance. As will be able to get himself down the vent though, but he does not have the bomb. Quickly running around to wrap onto the upper area. And there is no way to sugarcoat this. Laz is in for a terrible time in this round.
Well, he's got a potential to get a 1 versus 1 because of the amount of time on the clock. And he hasn't been seen by Yam, so there may be an assumption from Tainted Minds that Laz cannot be in the position that he's currently in. So there is something to be done here because Yam has he had the AWP trained on Secret this entire time. Now he's looking towards main, and it seems Tainted Minds have realized that he could have gone beyond this position already. And if Burn gets the kill here, I do wonder if this angle will be checked now if Scarz get into a similar situation. It's twice in a row, but there's so many angles there. He is not in a good place. So Scarz, one would assume, will likely be at max loss bonus for a while. I think that the main threat to Tainted Minds is perhaps over-peaking, really. Beyond that, it should be... I mean, I think we can assume that Scarz are going to be unprepared for trade frag setups, common pop flash plays, and so on. Zusi starts things off. You see Offnu aggressive around the T-red box. There are T's creeping around as well, so it seems that Scarz are expecting aggression from Tainted Minds. Now, how do they trade? You can see Laz poking out. Offnu just about doesn't see him. The flashbang is spotted, but he sees the T now. Tries to force him from his position with the AWP. Yam is moving into position in Secret with the AWP. Oh, but Laz is doing more work outside. He's dancing. And we've got a 3-on-3.
Ooh, that's a really big frag. Laz was looking for it, but the AWP is going to be solid in that spot. Crow towards the hell position with Bars. But no easy way onto a bomb site here. And the problem is if they get towards the lower side to plant, it's going to be unlikely they'll have any of the surrounding rooms, such as the control room where we see Burn, are you okay? It's a strong position. You can try to force them in into a spot where they need to plant. Obviously Burn, he just wants to make sure they don't get control room. Doesn't really need to do more than that and just deny these positions. His teammates are coming in as well. There's no easy way to do this. Oh, it's down to 6. Crow dead, that's the bomb gone. And it's all Bars can do to just stand there and try to make good of a bad situation, but it will be another round lost for Scarz. It was desperation. A lot of damage was done outside.
Yeah, it looked promising. Laz did what he could. And there'll be a tactical timeout from Scarz. They've got the money to buy AKs in this round. I don't know how... I mean, they've got like 4,000 to 4,400. I don't know how useful the utility is at this point for them because they're obviously such a young team for Nuke. We haven't seen the wall of smoke yet. But I would imagine even if you know you're playing Nuke, you can quickly look up how to do it if you don't know how to do it. We shall see. The AKs are coming out here for Scarz. So I suppose they can ask themselves, where have we found advantages? First, they need to avoid getting picks off early and need to figure out where Tainted Minds are looking for those early picks. Is it something that they can exploit? Where are they taking map control that they probably shouldn't have? See some jump peeks there from Laz. May have seen the CT in the garage off Nuke. So Laz trying to play around these smokes. He's had some success outside, and he'll be left to lurk in that position while Scarz focus on ramp.
Quick smoke flash going over by Burner UAK. Just has to make sure he keeps hold of the positions. Falling back, falling back. Laz gets one outside. That's very useful here for Scarz. Will offer them a chance. They are somewhat afraid of the AWP, and Yam is covering that angle, so they will be aware that the T's have yet to take ramp still. So they should be able to adjust their positions accordingly. They're also, despite losing a man outside, have a relative understanding. Zeus, he can see outside. He sees nobody. The soft angle from Laz is quite strong, and Zuzi walks into it. Very passive play from Laz after that first kill. You would not expect that angle, so that's well played by him. Capitalizing, punishing the CTs from trying to get some more information. And off the back of that, it's going to be a slower round, but they have enough time to get onto a site. So this is working out really well. But Inns is ready with the AK. Oh, he's not.
Yeah, the numbers game. Scarz, he was waiting for the hut push. But Scarz were all over the place. Burn out, needs a second frag. He's got the sound cues. Bars will outduel him though. So Scarz managed to get into good position. It seems the timeout worked out well for them. I think they only lost one player there. And that will cost Tainted Minds a lot of money. But they have a lot of money. But it won't last so long if Scarz can keep that up. Just outmaneuvering on the A site and then fragging out afterwards for Scarz. Second round on the board. See how far they can go. Seems they do have the smoke grenades. They have just been waiting. There are 4 smoke grenades. You could run through all these, almost all these grenades to the secret position. Ooh, a tag, but no frag. Yam forced away very early on. Now, Tainted Minds could have a 2-man setup on ramp later on, where one player is baiting for somebody who's in that position that's just been smoked off. There's Yam with another one. Very long journey back for him, though. And smartly, he will post up because they may have overwhelmed him if he tried to run for the double doors. And now what do Scarz do? 3 versus 4. They have the ramp, and Laz is still creeping outside.
Ooh, it's a close one. That might be him locked out now. Now you start to sell him. Must avoid this reset. Looking to start pincering onto the upper bomb sites. Actually, I say pincering, they don't have no one on the other side to sort of pincer in on, or with. 35 seconds. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm completely off guard. And now Zuzi will spot them going in. Can he get a kill as they move in? This is a big chance here for the Japanese side. Some good damage being done. Zuzi knows to survive, and Inns comes in. He's activated, and that'll finish him off. Good attempt there from Scarz, but they will be resets.
Indeed, they will. 2 players with AK money, the rest of them, sorry, 3 players. So let's see if Scarz choose to force it up with some CZs. It's a tight shot there. Indeed, they will. A Mac 10 coming out and the CZ. Will it be a fast play into the A bomb site? They've got some smokes and flashes. That's about it. 3 players outside. Again, we've got these early smoke grenades, and Scarz are making their way beyond T-Red, so they will be quickly into the secret position unless they choose to frag out once again. Laz, he's been a problem outside, but of course, Tainted Minds have many advantages, but they continue to trade here, Scarz. And now there are questions for Tainted Minds. Are there plays in secret? They've only got 3 players themselves, Tainted Minds. So where do they position themselves?
They're pushing out onto the upper side. Burn has a beautiful angle. His head is obscured there. It's really hard to actually fight him. Take will eventually trade him out, but the bomb is down on the upper side. All the information's there for the CTs. Take J has to just shoot heads. There's no way else to do this. That bomb needs to be collected. The CTs know where it is. And they're trying to hold these angles. Yeah, missing the shot. It's a chance, but a short-lived one for Take J. 10 rounds now for Tainted Minds, 2 for Scarz. This map pick of Nuke has not worked out for Scarz.
I reckon I think his name is probably Takeji, isn't it?
It's what?
Probably Takeji. Because he's Japanese, right?
Take.
So Take J, because his name's Takamori. So probably Takeji. I don't know what the hyphen is. So
it makes more sense that we
it's better than
like
take J, right? So
Yeah.
I think we should just go for KG.
Take.
G. 4 Glocks and a Deagle for the Japanese side. I think it's definitely not take J, right? It's just
Yeah,
not, is it?
it's very unlikely, yeah.
It's probably KG. Let's just go with that. Tainted Minds with the toxic colours. Not sure where the purple is in toxic, but it's kind of like a oozy colour. Ivan Ooze. Scarz are definitely getting some scars in this game of Nuke. Laz, he continues to be a highlight outside. Definitely a man to watch on this T side of Nuke for Scarz, of what there is of it. 10 kills for him, leading the charge.
It's got a cool name. I think all names are cool. All the Japanese names are cool. Koji Ushida, also known as Lasvel. Right, so timeout here for Scarz to figure out some things and see what has been successful, what has not been successful. And it is really interesting because it might be the first T side where I've not seen those outside smokes maybe ever. It's the must. I think, you know, in the European scene and the North American one, absolutely. I think it's such a common practice that, like, you know, those are the smokes that you don't. If you play this map at all, you know those smokes. Those are the basic ones for the T side for a variety of reasons. But moving past that point, we'll have a train of players from Scarz with the AKs moving quickly now into the upper bomb site. The flashes will rain in, and so will the frags, but the trades are stronger here for Tainted Mind so far. USP's out for Ofnu, and he's going to do it with the USP. Okay, now Takemori looking to get something done with this AK. Ofnu on the potential ace, but it's going to be Yam to get the kill. 12-2, and I mean, the positive thing for Scarz is that this T side is almost over. That's the one positive thing, perhaps. Rattling off those shots, his bullets spread from Ofnu is solid. There he is. It's rather jovial. So outside they go once again, and they will be denied once again. Yam, the man with the AWP, denying them the action that they want. And without any picks, any map control gains, there is not too much to do. They have to try to extend elsewhere on the map to find position, to find their way closer to a bomb site and closer to having some positive engagements. You're not finding them outside, and it's a headshot angle for Burner. You okay? He'll get one, critically weakening the next one. Finished off by Yam. He's rotated from outside. And that leaves just 2 Galils standing outside.
Standing outside, standing outside.
Yeah,
Without the bomb.
It's been their T side pretty much.
Maybe it's time to fight for elimination once again. And you see, not sure if he knew anything about the second frag there, but there we go. 13-2, nothing unexpected happening. Fairly uneventful, really. Tainted Minds, it's their map to close out now.
Yep, I think perhaps maybe that would be something that they expected. I mean, perhaps that said, perhaps the veto in of itself was very unexpected for Tainted Minds. You know, once they got into Nuke, they were likely in quite good spirits. Again, I think the desk set it up quite appropriately. Some surprise maps in this veto process. Takamori. Waiting for that ramp push. Nade into the upper bomb site to suggest perhaps some attention is required to the upper site, when in fact it's ramp that is the problem area. Take will be pushed all the way back, and The lower bomb site will be claimed, and the most important positions also claimed and checked by Tainted Minds. They've got more than enough players to do so. And Inns is, I was going to say free to plant the bomb, but there's a door opened here. There's no cover. Where are the teammates at? Nuke trying to give them the runarounds, but Inns needs to plant this bomb, and he needs people to cover him. Oh, poor Inns, he can't plant this bomb.
KG can't finish off the job. Tainted Minds. I mean, it's forced by territory every round now for Scarz. I want to see Deagles, man. I want to see Deagles. No grenades, just Deags. But no, it will be the CZs coming out for the CT side. That was a nice one tap. A short highlight in what could be a brief game of Nuke. On to the next one. I don't think Scarz should be too concerned. Nuke having a nice warm-up before the match starts. Probably in game 2, I think it's fair to say. Laz, once again, is still doing more work outside on both sides. Engaging with Nuke now. Trying to put some more numbers in Nuke's def column. Don't know if there was a gun to dispose of. I suppose you could actually just shoot it under the vent, under the rail. Fence, that's the word. Fence. I've climbed a few fences in my time.
I've fallen off some fences.
Sometimes you've got to climb a fence.
Remember gouging a chunk out of my thigh. Once falling off a fence. Never climbed a fence again.
Sounds like fence climbing wasn't for you then. Shadow position.
Poem. Didn't see his head. One and done, perhaps. One and done. But it might be enough. Might be enough. They have a 4v3. The T's position is checked for. It is known. Is there somebody who can keep an eye on the outside, though? Because the double back is always a potential in this position. There's 20 seconds, though. They have to get a move on. Tainted Minds. They're going to push into the stacked defense there on the lower bomb sites, and there is 15 seconds now to plant this bomb. They've got to speed things up. Take in a great position there with that D-Eagle. Trying to delay 7 seconds. The bomb is going down in the smoke. Take hasn't got an angle on it. The AK's back out for Nuke as he backs away. You can see the head of Take sitting up there. Oh!
Boom!
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
2 AKs for... Now, what would this be in Japanese? Base? I feel like... I'm just going to say Bas for that one. I don't know.
Well, it's like phonetic, isn't it? So it's... But I don't know. That is weird, though. Maybe you took it from something else, too. There's always that possibility.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny, there's a Japanese Street Fighter player who named himself Cantona after Eric Cantona, the Manchester United striker. But the guys in America named him Cantona because they don't know Eric Cantona,
God, yeah.
so they say Cantona. So it's Cantona, mate.
That is so funny.
It's Cantona. I played him in the arcade. I got wrecked in Osaka. 3 rounds for Scarz. They are well equipped now versus these pistoling players of Tainted Minds. And how will Tainted Minds deal with the struggle? Looking to drop into main perhaps, but Laz has the angles. Poem keeping an eye on the play towards Secret, but the smoke is down. So vision has now been obscured.
Laz waiting. Flashed. Spotted. Ooh, struggling to finish him off, though. That's a pretty good result, all things considered, to get a frag there. Laz has been doing well. Crow has picked up his first kill in the previous round, I believe. It's been a tough one for him. And Burn, are you okay? Which just makes me think of Smooth Criminal.
Yes, me too. Yeah, all I'm thinking is Annie, are you okay?
Yep.
That is quite quite an involved nickname he's made for himself there, including the capital letters. Really going for it with that name. 30 seconds for Tainted Minds. Waiting for Scarz to overpeak, but they are a disciplined squad and they will not do that. They will not serve themselves. Tainted Minds must take Mantwix by force.
Maybe it's a troll, maybe it's just Burn Rock.
Maybe it's a silence. NLR. Or something. Who the hell knows? Maybe fell asleep on the keyboard.
So they get the bomb down. They've got no Kevlar. It is a round that Scarz should be on top of, but they have been struggling. It's a good round from Tainted Minds in that respect. And this post plant, they've got a really nice setup. The spread of players is strong positionally, but they have to get the frags. First one there for Bas. So you see, ooh, this is scary. He's going to let the player pass. Oh, it could have backfired massively, but he gets himself a second headshot. But Bas with 2 HP. Does he have time? He's got a kit, and so he is fine. But 2 HP, and they'll lose every player. That's not a good look, and that's going to encourage Tainted Minds even more moving forwards. But a round's a round, and when you only have 3, it is welcome. And of course, now it is 4. That's how maths works.
Notes from Dan.
Quick maths. Tainted Minds. They probably feel as though they can get anything working here.
They should just stick to their normal plan.
Look at those smokes.
Again, they are invested in the secret position with 4 of their 5 players, and Inns will be watching part of the lobby area. Now you see the reposition from Scarz.
I was going to say, one of the smokes outside was a CT smoke, and it was one of the forward ones, which kind of shows you that Scarz are not sort of prepared for how T-sides typically play a nuke. Smash.
Control of control. Helps you with control of the B bomb site. Laz continues to be a problem, as does Crow. But Jules is being one on the B bomb site. We've got ramp issues for Tainted Minds, but the grenades start to bounce off the corners. You can see those angled corners can work in both directions. You see, does he hear some footsteps? Got the grenades streaming in. There's 1, there's 2, and there is game point for Tainted Minds. Do you want AWP? Apparently not. Look at those colours. Toxic green. I don't have a name for the purple. What kind of name is there? Do I have a book on colours? I think I might do. All the different names, different colours and so on. Game point for Tainted Minds. You will not be surprised to know that this is the pick of Tainted Minds. For those of you who were not here for the pre-match talk from the desk. The second map will be Cash, and then Inferno will be a decider if required.
Laz waiting in main. Main was always a tricky position to play, having to balance your defense between outside and inside. It reminds me of playing Stairs on Mirage as a CT, where you have to consider a lot of positions at once. But Laz will survive, and he'll get himself a pick. But that will be that. 16-4, and it's over. Map 1 goes to Tainted Minds, and it was never too much in question, as it did become apparent that Scarz just find themselves very underprepared here for a nuke.
Yes, Tainted Minds got themselves a free win in the veto, I think it's fair to say at this point. So now the real match will begin. Scarz will be 0-1 down as they move on to their pick, which again is going to be Cash, and Inferno will be the decider. So a quick break, and then we will be into it.